Hey, everyone. Coach Heather Lynn here. Woo! Yes, we're going to go ahead and just dive right into week 2 of the Gene Key Collective. Um, Last week, we discussed the basics about gene keys. And then this week, we are going to go ahead and just dive right into the overview of the gene keys. So again, we discussed that Richard Rudd is a visionary and he is the creator of this system, which blends ancient wisdom with modern insights to foster our personal transformation and self-discovery. So this journey, and my journey began with a deep interest in spirituality and the mysteries of life, which led a lot of us to explore, the gene keys or other philosophical or spiritual traditions. So, the background about Richard Rudd is that Richard's exploration of personal development began with his studies in philosophy, psychology, and spirituality. Sounds a lot like myself. He was particularly drawn to the I Ching, an ancient Chinese text. It pretty much explores the nature of the change, and it discusses about how our human experiences changes our life and how we evolve based on these experiences. And then we add in the spiritual quest. So over the years, Richard immersed himself in different healing practices and techniques. And, he was on a quest to understand the deeper aspects of life and consciousness that actually were informing his decisions and areas of concern around his personal growth. And then, of course, the birth of the gene keys. The inspiration of the gene keys was born out of Richard's desire to create a system that was accessible and practical for individuals that were seeking self-awareness and transformation. So he pretty much sought to integrate his insight of the I Ching and the modern insights of the psychology and astrology. Okay. So he spent several years developing this particular system, focusing on the idea that each person has a unique gift and a challenge. And he also noted that the knowledge, and brought all this knowledge into a framework that actually highlighted it into the 64 distinct gene keys that each of us has its own shadow, gift, and city that we discussed last week, which we're going to dive a little bit more in detail this week as well. So again, this publication was published in 2013. So the Gene Keys is the book that we're going to be following, Embracing Your Higher Purpose. So this book outlines pretty much the principles of the Gene Keys and how it serves as a guide for your individual seeking knowledge. And it helps you unlock your potential and navigate your life path. So pretty much the purpose of the Gene Keys. So it aims to empower individuals by providing, a comprehensive tool of understanding themselves. It emphasizes the importance of contemplation and self-reflection, and it allows us to explore the shadow and the gifts, ultimately guiding them and you and I towards our higher purpose. So, more or less, what this book invites us, the Gene Key, it invites us to embark on a journey of self discovery. It encourages us to embrace our unique path. What is your unique path? What are the challenges that are unique to you and your individual's soul's journey? And once we learn about the gifts, the shadows, and the city, then we get down to the foundation of how we begin to integrate this ancient wisdom and these modern insights together, right? And then the alchemization journey actually begins. And then the Gene Key actually offers a transformational framework that allows for our own personal growth and our personal spiritual awakening. What is going to awaken your soul's essence to its highest expression? What is it that your soul is here to learn, to experience, to dive into? right? So we're going to go ahead and dive a little bit deeper. So we're going to start discussing the actual 64 keys and what they mean, kind of what it represents. So the foundation in the I Ching. So as I discussed, the I Ching has a big, huge foundation in the Gene Key book. So it's also known as the Book of Changes, and it consists of 64 hexagrams. Each of these represents a specific archetype or theme of a human experience. So, as Richard Rudd explained or adapted, that these hexagrams will be, that he adapted these hexagrams into the gene keys, and it created a system that is both accessible and deeply insightful. In fact, a part of the way that you are to experience them is the art of contemplation. So if you have a gene key, you're supposed to contemplate, reflect, see how this has transpired in your own life, and see if it's something where you're still in the shadow aspect, or are you teeter-tottering in between the gift and the city? All right. Because if you've begun to alchemize those feelings, those expressions, and these energies that are present, right, they're there for you to overcome and to look at and to love and to nurture and to appreciate, you know, appreciate your journey, right? That's why they say show grace and compassion. And the archetype of the human experience. So each one of these G keys corresponds to a specific aspect of your life. And again, it helps us explore the range of human emotions. We know that emotions can create dis-ease. If we can understand what we are susceptible to based on our design, it allows us to um, be aware of certain energies that we know that we are, attracting to us based on our design. And that once we see this, how can we alchemize it to bring it to the gift level? So, again, each gene key corresponds to a particular aspect of life, exploring a range of human emotions, challenges, and potentials. So, the system pretty much allows us to reflect on the experience through the lens of this archetype. So, as we begin to dive in, we're going to realize that each one of these hexagrams has an archetype. Okay. It goes really deep down the rabbit hole once you start diving into the 64 gifts and the 64 keys and everything else. So, again, each one of these gene keys operates at 3 distinct levels, providing a framework of understanding. So, again, last week we discussed the shadow, and this represents the lower vibrational expression of the gene keys. Often it's associated with our fears, our limitations, and the challenges that we face in life. As I advised everyone last week, I recommend you to get the pattern app. Pattern. It looks like a little black swirl. All right. What that's going to do is it's going to show you your patterns based on your natal design. And it's going to basically give you some insight on some of what this is telling you. But it's going to be coming from an astrological standpoint, not basically from a gene key standpoint. But you will see these archetypes. Once you understand the gene keys, you're going to realize that they go hand in hand, and you're going to be able to take this knowledge from the pattern app and be able to plug it into your gene key. And then you're going to be able to say which archetype is playing out which, aspect of your design. It's just the way it is, right? Which ball game are you playing in? Are you playing in the shadow, or you're playing in your associating with your fears and your limitations and your challenges, or we're going to call it victimhood, the blame game, which I'm so over that played out game. I'm so over it. It's like, take accountability, solve the problem, let's move on, because I just can't even more. I just can't. All right. And then the gift, as we discussed last week, the gift is the transformative quality that emerges when we work through our shadows and we do shadow work, right? That is the work that I do. I teach individuals through 2 different ways. Is I take them through an alchemical process. One of them is through what I call a heart activation. The second one is a Shakti activation. Once we get rid of the lower energy vibrational attachments, then I start working on opening up the Shakti, which is the higher vibrational essence of your individual self. And then once you dive into that, and if you will, then you can do a quantum healing hypnosis session with me where you can see what where you've been, time, space, I'm a time traveler, baby. Or if you're seeking healing, there's something that you cannot pinpoint, I feel like this is, going on. I need confirmation or clarity. I can go in and, facilitate a session and speak to your higher self. So there are all these things that we can do to help us get to these gift levels. However, there is a process of an alchemical process. Okay, so alchemy has to occur in order from the shadow to become the gift. We basically have to turn this fear, these limitations, and turn it, we're going to say, make it our bitch, right? We need to own it and look at it and be like, I see you. Put that little cute face on it and say, I'm not afraid no more, and just embrace it and let it empower you versus destroy you, right? Because that can happen. Sometimes when when we're facing a fear, sometimes our fear can be so overwhelming. However, the greater the fear, the greater the gift, right? The more that you have to fight for something, the greater the gift in return, right? Because that grit, right, is how we become, how the beautiful pearl is made. It's made over being like, things moving and agitation and a lot of things just occurring. And over time, a pearl forms out of this grit that occurred during the alchemical process of turning from this piece of sand into this big, beautiful, pearl essence to this, tangible thing. So, and the gift is the transformative quality. So that emerges through these shadows. So it represents our unique talents and our gifts and our contributions. And, more or less, it's our responsibility, indicating the ability to take ownership in our life based on our choices that we are to make today and take ownership of the choices that we made in the past. Period. It is such a hard process, but once you get there, you understand that, the gift is, why we do it. It's because there's something beautiful in that growth. Because let's be honest, we're here to live a soul's experience, meaning that we are here to journey through all of our emotions, right? And when we can go into our gifts and we can take ownership of what we're here to do and how we're supposed to create and how we're supposed to live through our dharma by creating and co-creating with source, by following our passions and our dreams and the things that we love. And then we get to the Siddhi. And the Siddhi is the highest expression of the gene key. Pretty much this is where we are embodying the essence of the ultimate purpose. So this is us recognizing this is me, this is who I am. And no longer am I going to allow the limitations go. And then when I look at it from a gift level, it's kind of like I'm seeing it at eye level, right? Like I can see that I'm no longer in my shadow, but I can't really see above, what's above that. Now, once we rise to the Siddhi level, we begin to see the third eye perspective of the lesson and the world around us, right? About these were our lessons. This is why this had to happen. So this could occur. And then this, and this, and this. And then you can see from a third eye perspective of why you had to go through these experiences along your journey, right? So, and this level represents a realization of our highest potential, such as forgiveness. And in this case, forgiveness can be really difficult. So this Siddhi reflects profound qualities that can inspire and uplift us. So, your personal and collective journey. So when you start taking the journey, how do you know what you're doing? Well, self-discovery. So more or less, the Gene Keys invites each individual to explore their shadows and your gift that leads to your greater self-awareness and your greatest potential for personal growth. So by contemplating on these Gene Keys, uncovering your patterns, and living to your highest expression is the journey, right? When we begin to stop learning or enjoying life, we begin to get old in our thoughts, right? Not necessarily in our soul, but in our thought and our patterns and our behaviors. And during the self discovery process, what this does is it reactivates a sense of ourself, and we begin to acknowledge that our journey is a constant evolving journey, even well into our later expression years, right? You know, it's about the long haul. So the collective healing. So the Gene Keys also helps us address collective themes that are encouraging us to recognize that we are oneness all together for the most part. Okay, and let me explain. So basically, eventually we are going to understand that we are our one consciousness, that there's no such thing as right and there's no such thing as wrong, and that each event, time, space has a specific meaning, purpose, and that this is on a collective level. Like, let's be honest, like, we want world peace, but do we see peaceful things happening around us? That's basically eyes of the beholder, right? Now, that would be a collective theme, right? So what we're doing is we're feeling everything on a collective level. So as we're going through growing pains, so are the people around us, meaning like you're not the only one. Okay. And it gets you out of this victim mentality, like it's happening for you, not to you. Okay. And it also fosters a sense of compassion and understanding for those around us, right? Because we're in this together. So the Gene Keys system is a structure that's based on 64, based on the I Ching. It offers a rich and transformative approach to understand ourselves. It helps us explore the shadow, the gifts, and the cities of each one of these Gene Keys. And as you embark on this journey of self discovery, you can have profound personal empowerment and spiritual growth. And the system provides a unique lens that helps us view and experience our unlocked potential, ultimately guiding us to our higher self. So, that's what we're going to talk about today. I don't think we're going to dive in. Let me see what we got. Yeah, let's just dive in. Let's just do this real quick. Okay, so the 3 levels of experience based on the Gene Key. So pretty much we're going to just dive right into the shadow. So pretty much the shadow was the lower expression of the Gene Key. Again, it embodies our fears, limitations, and unconscious patterns that hinder our growth. I'm an overgiver. I am working on that. In fact, this last Pluto Libra freaking eclipse that we just had was ending some of my patterns. However, if I'm not very careful, some of these shadows can come up and remind me that there's still some healing that needs to be done. And there's no shame in the game. I have come to realize we all have wounding. Some people want to admit it, some won't. Some will look at it, some won't. And I respect all of that. So the characteristics of the shadow. So the shadows can manifest as negative behaviors, self-sabotage, or limiting beliefs. Right? Those gremlins in the closet. And they often arise from unresolved emotional wounds or societal conditioning. Mine basically comes from a need to avoid abandonment. I'm just going to be honest. I will overgive trying to avoid situations. And I am learning that I'm supposed to allow each cycle to end without holding on. And the longer and the more that I try to hold on the things that do not serve me as I'm getting older, I'm instantly reminding that that is not it. Because, the universe went, let me just throw a boulder at you. Let me just throw you a little tower moment. Do you see that? And again, it's because if I'm in my shadow or I'm in my lower expression, these are the things that you're going to manifest. And again, the shadow of victimhood. Individuals may feel powerless, blame others for their circumstances, or fall into a cycle of negativity. Mine was a cycle of negativity, and recognizing the pattern is crucial. Now, however, again, understanding your gene keys, but also understanding your astrology chart, because they do go hand in hand, right? Like right now, my Saturn is conjunct my moon. And that just means that it's going to be hard for me to tap into my emotions as I'm learning how to set and establish appropriate boundaries. Because if I'm continuously giving unconditionally, and this is usually in my job, my job arena, right? Because I give unconditionally when I'm committed in that facet. I will give unconditionally. But I'm learning that I have ebbs and flows, and I have to listen to my own inner guidance before above and beyond anything else, before money, and I have to have a career where it's based on my ability to channel some of my Cancer, some of my nurturing energy. And I'm learning so much about myself, but it's a part of this, this right here. And my Cancer ascendant, meaning that I'm supposed to be opening up my heart. And y'all know Cancer, if you, if I feel like my abandonment wounds being, and these are shit that I have to deal with and that I have dealt with, but there are things that I've had to alchemize because of these gene keys, and it helped me. But what I used to do is I would put a real hard protective shell around me, and y'all know the crabs will scutter sideways, and I would act like my ego would be like, yeah, you can't touch me. And I would just act like some Billy badass, even though I wasn't. Right. So this was a shadow aspect of my personality, which was basically saying, hey, you need to take a look at that wound, because there's really nothing that scary. It hurts, but the self-sabotage that this is creating in your life is going to cause you more harm. So, and again, the shadow serves as a teacher. By acknowledging and embracing our shadows, we begin the process of transmutation, turning a challenge into opportunities for growth. So gifts, and then we're going to talk about the cities, and then we're out of here. So the definition of the gift is the higher expression that emerges when we transform our shadow into the gift. I need to slow down. Jeez Louise. It represents our gifts, talents, and strengths, and our positive qualities we can offer to the world. So our gifts reflects our authentic selves and contribute to our sense of purpose that all arise from all the lessons that we learned through all the struggles. So from our example above, transforming the shadow of victimhood can lead to the gift of responsibility. This shift allows the individual to take ownership and allows their life and their choices to become empowering from a positive standpoint, not from a negative standpoint. So again, the gift is where we begin to express our true potential and our true essence. By embracing our gifts, we not only enhance our relationships, but we make a meaningful connection to our community, and we begin walking in our dharma, right? We start co-creating. Then we get to the enlightened version. So this is the highest expression of the gene key. This is where you're embodying your essence and ultimately acknowledging your potential. It represents your divine qualities we aspire to manifest in our lives. So this is where you have profound transformative qualities and inspire you to uplift ourselves and others. This is where we transcend our personal experiences and connect with a greater sense of unity and purpose. This is where the oneness comes in. and where judgment goes out the window and you're like, I can't judge them because I've probably been there or maybe in one life or have done it or could do it given some circumstances. Okay. An example of the city is forgiveness. It reflects on the state of unconditional love and compassion, and it invites individuals to embody this quality and kind of rise above personal grief, fostering healing and connection. The city invites us to transcend our individual concern and serve a higher purpose. It encourages us to live in alignment with our spiritual essence and in a way inspiring others. So again, understanding the three levels of these experience, the shadow, the gift, and the city. Within the Gene Key, it offers a roadmap for personal transformation. By recognizing our shadows, we can unlock our gifts, ultimately aspiring to embody our highest potential. Now, this journey not only enriches our lives, but also helps you contribute to the collective healing and the growth of humanity. You guys know we're going through a shift from 3D to 5D. I don't know if you guys do know, but I'm letting you guys know now. And what that means is that we're no longer going to be stuck in these low, repressed, fearful limitation beliefs, but we are being forced to look at, alchemize, face, express, feel, release, let it go, so that the city can be known, so that we can be the change that we want to see, right? This is why we do this. This is why I'm a late leader. I'm a late thought leader. I'm here to bring knowledge to you guys that most people don't talk about. No one's talking about the Gene Keys and how they can help you transform and awaken your life. Now, let me give you a beautiful little warning about this process, right? Let me get out of this. Let me get out of my full screen. So let me just give you a little insight about how this works. So as we start going through this process and you start awakening and you start contemplating your Gene Keys, you automatically start the process of transformation, and things, circumstances, and events will automatically start finding their ways to you to create new opportunities for you to transmute the shadow. Period. End of story. So be ready to dive right in to a lot of contemplation, a lot of reflection, and a lot of learning about yourself, because this journey is going to take you to places that may not be so comfortable. And that's okay. You know, life is not meant to be comfortable. Again, that pearl did not become a beautiful pearl without a vigorous process of transformation. Why would we be any different? Why would we be exempt? And I'm a firm believer, the more, sometimes showing discipline or being structured seems to be the harder way, but in the end, it will lead to a more direct route because you're not going to have all the energy leaks along the way. So this just helps you acknowledge what needs to be looked at and addressed. And once you alchemize it, the potential of what it can bring to you. All right, I'm about to leave for the night. You guys have an amazing night. I hope you guys enjoy the Gene Key Collective. I do apologize, it was a little late. I've been in the process of moving, so this is what it is. So have a great night, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Next week, we're going to start diving into charts, and I'm going to be honest, I might not be able to make it next week because my last day to move, but I will be making it the following week. But I will go ahead and cancel the live, but we will start diving into our charts. Now, if you're interested in having your chart read and diving into your personalized Gene Keys, DM me. I can definitely help you with that. We can schedule a one-on-one, or I can just simply send you your chart, which is basically going to entice you like, oh, this is like giving, it's like dangling carrots in front of, like the donkey. You're going to want more. As soon as you take a bite of the carrot, you're like, I want more. So anyway, much love, much light. I hope you guys really enjoy this knowledge. I know that it's taken me a long time to immerse myself into this so that I can regurgitate it and give it to you guys in a simplified, simple version that you guys can make tangible and bring into life and co-create with your design based on who you were meant to be. Have a great night. Bye.